bus didn't break down during that busy wave. Oh, I wanted to tell you something. Get this. Recently, a VP bus did a Stony block. A VP bus did a Stony block. Did I tell you about that?
No.
A CNG bus broke down, so they sent out a VP bus all the way from VP to do a 40 North Hill Crowfoot, a Stony block. And that bus, and he waited an hour, and the bus is obviously full. You punched out of service for a reason.
Well, so what if they would have got on the bus and it turns and then they wanted to go straight? You know, like...
I don't... Typical day on Calgary Transit, I guess. And if you call it into transit, what are they gonna do? Send an extra bus for the trip? They just won't do it.
On the computer I punched in the code that I left people behind. What they do with that information.
And you could even call it in and they, I don't know what's their deal. Say if I got off there, they would still have to cram in. There's just no room.
Well, I was wondering how many people got out at that last one. 2 people got off the bus. And it was like 5 or 6 of them wanted in. And it's, you know, and there was a couple of kids. It's like, no way.
They would have fell over me
Well, they
too.
would stand here and I'd have to tell them they can't, and they're not going to want to get on the bus, and I'm going to have to go through the arguing of the COVID protocol thing, and they're not going to care. I mean, these signs have been up for 2 years. At Mount Royal, it took me 3 minutes to leave there. I was on time, and then left 3 minutes late because of that.
Please stand behind the line, please. No passengers but beyond this point, please.
Well, I let the go out the back door slide because no one pays attention to that part of the sign that says please use the rear door to exit. Nobody pays attention to that. But I enforce the standing up here. I mean, it's the only thing I've got. You know, being on the bus for almost 8 hours a day.
You think it would be bad now? Imagine if they only kept 4 buses on here now. It would be even worse. And they banging on the window saying, oh, can I get on the bus? But I mean, that's typical, right? You punched out of service, there's people on, but that doesn't mean you can't fit any more on. And you know what, they'll probably do something. But what are you gonna do? They're gonna report you? Well, why would they do that?
I just don't understand why they're so eager to get on a bus where they have no idea where it's going. Like, it says out of service. And it's full. Like,
leave a few behind.
Not every time. Not here. Usually, when they get to that 80 cross, there's no room.
Like, you see that Arctic down there? I don't know why they would have one for this one trip. Yeah, there he is.
Just skim over on.
Yeah. Oh, and he's full.
Half of the kids that got on came through the back door.
It's nice that you do that. Makes it easier so they don't cram in all at once.
Hopefully some of them get tickets on the C train. You know, most of the ones that come through the back door don't pay. That's why they're doing that. And then they go on the train at Westport and then your train costs get busted.
Oh, I see. So you said you never done the 14 in all your years.
14, yeah, I don't even know what that is. I think maybe years and years ago I did a really called the 14.
It's a Bridlewood Cranston.
Oh no, never done that. Yeah, I think the 14 used to run around, when I first started working here, it was right by the Big Park Garage, but it got changed. Yeah, I've never done it. I think it's the same as like the opposite of the Route 12, which I've never done that either.
Oh, the 12 Southwest Loop now, okay. Oh, the opposite of the Route 12, that's the 11.
Oh. I don't know any routes.
Well, you only do this one, really, right? And then it,
For the last couple of years.
oh, there's more. And I don't understand why all it would take, you know, one extra bus on this route, even just for one trip, not to have overloaded buses. Or an overloaded bus, I should say. But then again, if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, right? And it would have to probably be a driver off of a spare board or the standby list. Or say, for example, you send that bus out at 2 o'clock to do a couple of school runs, then you do the one trip going this way.
I'd like to have a bus about 10 minutes ahead of me.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. This thing does pull pretty good though. One thing I can greatly notice is inside the bus, there's not a lot of rust. I told you in the summertime I filmed the Heritage Park steam engine there. The train, yeah, the train that goes around there. I got an opportunity last summer to get some good footage. I sat right in the front car close to the engine. And the engine I was on was 70 years old. It's amazing how they can put something on track that lasts for that long.
That old iron, you know, it lasts forever.
Pardon?
Old iron back in the day that lasted forever.
Yeah. This is where you get your first baths, right? Coming right up here. They're phasing out buses like this now too. The 2001s and 2s are both going. Then eventually it'll be the 2003s. because they have that New Flyer Industries right there in Winnipeg. You must not have any time at Westbrook. Maybe a minute by the time you get there.
Sometimes I have a minute, sometimes no minutes.
Oh yeah, here they come. Yep.
Bugging the city constantly to get the train to run into Mount Royal. And the city kept telling them it's just not feasible to run the train down there. It costs billions of extra dollars. And we're just not willing to do that. And so they said, look, basically just to shut them up. They said, well, we'll make a route that goes from Westbrook to Mount Royal to Heritage and back. So that it doesn't take very long. And is that good enough? You know, like, and so they agreed to that. So that's how the route came about.
This is my favorite max route of all of them. The others don't even touch this route. Especially if you get like, you know, you're in the evening, it's so nice and quiet. School run. What's for dinner tonight? What's for dinner tonight?
Leftover soup.
That's nice on a cool day like this.
Throw some chicken in it.
Yeah.
Days ago, I made a couple of cans of cream of mushroom. Me and my wife, we put onions and green peppers in it. It was really good, but there's still like a whole left.
Next time we're back to Heritage, we'll be getting off. Couple-hour ride today.
This trip gets pretty busy.
Yeah, I've been on it. I know what it's like. I remember when I was on with you last year, the key you did, you only got like maybe 5, 6 students.
Yeah, it was leading to the pandemic.
Yeah. You know what? Just for this trip, they should have 6 buses on, just for the busy trips.
Yeah.
So you're not like run max till 15 minutes with when the students get out. I think they could do that if they wanted to.
Yeah.
No service got back saying they don't want to.
We'll be back a little after 4:30 and then we'll head to the Mary's.
The same bus again?
Yeah.
No, not really. I was more Western.
And now they only use it for trains. I imagine you worked out in the Spring Gardens garage a couple times.
Yeah, way too many times. When I was a junior guy on a spare board, it seemed like every other day I was at Spring Gardens.
And these buses here were at Spring for the first few years when they came out. When they came out.
Sorry?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I know some drivers who have broken down right on going on to Glenmore Trail, their bus just shuts down. One of the worst places to break down.
That happened to me about a year and a half ago.
Oh, it happened to you, right?
Yeah, just after going down this ramp right here.
And then the bus just said, no, I'm done.
Stop running.
You try to start it up again and it just wouldn't.
Oh, there was nothing. You couldn't even get anything out of it. It was just dead.
Not even the signage, eh? Wow.
And I broke down right here.
Wow.
There was one time years and years ago, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a time when some people were putting these little exploding bombs in cigarette packs, and they were leaving them around places, and if someone saw it like on a bench or something, they would open it and they would pull a few of their fingers off. So shut the bus down. We're sending the bomb squad and everything, so okay. So I just picked a nice spot on the grass that was there. Waited about 20 minutes and the cops show up with about 6 cop cars and a big truck thing. And they pulled this robot thing out of the truck. And then they decided that they didn't want to use the robot. So they dressed up a guy in bomb gear and sent him on the bus. And then this whole time, it's been about 2 hours, and I'm just loving every minute of it. I mean, you know, because nice summer day, and I'm lying in the shade under a tree, and the rest just watching.
Yeah.
And, you know, still on the clock. And after he went in, he was in there for a few minutes, checking out these cigarettes, and then he comes out and he says to me, he says, "You're the driver, right?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you smoke?" I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Here, here's a pack of cigarettes." And it was like a 3/4 of a package of cigarettes. It must have just fell out of someone's pocket. And, so yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
But good thing you did the right thing, though.
Yeah. It was a nice couple of hours off.
You're just like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here in the shade. Oh, and the 43 you did, that went up to, that was ranch lands, right?
Yeah, went through Ranchlands from Brentwood Station.
And then stopped at Crowfoot also, right?
Yeah, turned around there.
Now they completely changed it. It goes all the way up to McKnight Westwind and goes to and then Chinook.
Yeah, a lot of changes over there. Remember the last time I ever called in for overtime when they were asking if anybody wants to do overtime, anyone going back to the garage kind of thing? And I used to call in all the time, like if I didn't have anything going on after my shift, I called, "Yeah, I've got some time. Okay, go do route whatever, because someone's broken down or really late or something."
Need
So one time I was doing this, the last part of my shift was Mackenzie Town Express. And I was in Mackenzie Town and they were calling for buses that were available to do C-train shuttles. So I called in and said, "Yeah, I'm going to be going out of service in Mackenzie Town in a few minutes." He said, "Okay, go when you're finished in Mackenzie Town, go down Deerfoot, go on Memorial Drive and go underneath the Zoo Bridge and sit there and call me. You need to go anywhere because I've got a lot of late buses and I'm going to check and see if anyone needs any help." So I'm thinking, oh no, because it had been a long time since I've been on Spareboard, and I don't know like more than half of the routes at that point anymore, and I don't have a map book with me. So then he says, he comes back on about 45 minutes later, and he says, "Yeah, I want you to go up to Crowfoot, or Crowfoot Station, which I'd never been into. It was a new C-train station at the time, and do a Route 43." And Route 43 had changed, and I had never done the new routing. So I thought, oh man, I'm so screwed. So I'm driving up there, and I'm thinking, I'm going to have to call him and tell him that he's going to have to give me directions because it's going to be embarrassing and stuff. So I get up there and call him that I'm there, and he goes, "Okay, just stay out of the way for a minute. We're just going to chat with all the 43s." He comes back and he goes, "Yeah, the 43 that you were going to do, the guy's back on time. He's only like 7 minutes late now. So just hang on there. I'm going to check with all the other 43s and all the other 37s." The 37th was the same thing. They had changed the routing. I'm thinking, oh man, you know, I'm so screwed. And then he
Yeah, you just find it too grinding, right?
Well, if I get overtime now, it would have to be in advance, and I would have to look up the rating first. But I don't do overtime. I mean, the Anderson garage is closed, and I'm not driving down to Big Park at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No.
It's the only time I can do overtime. It's the only time is the morning and afternoon shifts, and I'm working during the afternoon, so the only overtime.
A couple on the Jimmies though, sometimes the brakes would lock, and if you didn't call it in and try to get it to the station, one time I heard there was a fire because of that. The brakes locked.
Driving an old GM, and it was the one that was painted with the Calgary flames on it. It was white with a big red C, flaming C.
Okay.
It was 900 something, I can't remember. But I was doing the recording, and then the 72nd Avenue stop on Center Street, this kid comes up and tells me that there's smoke coming from the back seat. So I immediately shut it down and went and checked it out. Grabbed the fire extinguisher. There was a fire in the engine. I got everybody off the bus, put the fire out. And this old Asian guy wanted to go to 78th Avenue and said, just get it up to 78th Avenue. I'm like, well, this bus isn't going anywhere, man. Like, if you want to walk, fine, and wait for the next week bus. But this bus is not driving anymore. I don't know what he was thinking.
And you know what? If you tried to get it going again, you would have like probably 5 to 10 foot flames coming out of that thing. Possibly. And they probably just gave you another Jimmy after that for a change off. They must keep it all the way in the back for the motors because the mechanics will have to know when to rebuild the motor or get work done on it.
Yeah. I remember I was driving one day quite a while back and it had no odometer on it, and I came 9 kilometers away from wrapping it to zeros.
Wow. We have a couple of the original motor buses in the series, the ISCs. They're really, really slow for some reason. The original motor buses, some of them. Like 7738, you can hardly get it going uphill. You're lucky if you get that thing uphill going about like, 35, 40K. But it doesn't doesn't matter what, you always get a faulty bus in a series, and a couple faulty ones.
Some of the old GMs we used to have when I first started working here, you were lucky if you went 10K up some of the hills.
And they would be screaming to get up there, but man, was it slow. Just the way they were designed, right? Did you have any favorite buses in the GMC series, or?
Not really. Some of the newer ones went better than the older ones, and some of the older ones went better than the newer ones. And it's kind of a toss-up.
Because they had them all the way back to the 600 series buses.
The 1100 series was pretty good.
Yeah.
Most of them were good.
Just made it. I'm glad they put more time for you guys on this route.
From about
Oh, you.
3 till 6:30, you can't tell.
Oh, right.
Go, 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 go.
Do you get any students on this key or no?
A lot.
Wow.
The next time I go to Westbrook, coming back, I get so many that I've left a few behind on some days.
I think I was on this key once with a different driver back when university was in. We came in on the Max 2 about 4:30, fully loaded with students.
Most of the students I get are from Central Memorial, and then I pick up quite a few at college, well, university, and then I get a lot from 80 Cross. All on the same trip.
But at least you're getting heritage to heritage, so you can be thankful for that.
Yeah.
How is the frame on this bus? You said, I was on with you last week and you said there was air coming in or something on the bus you had?
Oh, the window.
Yeah,
Well, it wasn't the air coming in, it was just rattling.
yeah.
This one's okay.
You're on this till the end of June, eh?
Yeah. Hopefully I can get it for the summer too.
Summer's nice. The buses must get hot sometimes though. No air conditioning.
Yeah, well, I like that. Well, the only time I ever drove an air-conditioned bus was once.
That 3, right?
Yeah, it was in the winter, so I've never actually driven in air conditioning, and I don't want to. I like the summer. I like it hot. I mean, we don't get much of it.
We don't.
Yeah, so I don't want to be air conditioned. I want to feel the heat because winter, comes way too soon.
Sometimes I was on a 78 once. A couple years ago, the engine light came on. That's just something wrong with it though, and the engine was running fine. It was just getting a little hot. It was 33 degrees outside.
Thankfully, we don't get too many of those days.
Oh, last year when we had that heat wave for 10 days straight. Some buses are clunkers though.
How are you today?
Good. So I'm trying to get Jonathan to come in for tomorrow because you just had a family emergency and has to go to ambulance.
Sure.
But Jonathan is busy and I can't find anybody to come in.
No, that's great. That's great. I thought, you know what? I would have reached out to that. I haven't canceled it. So, well, that's cool. That's good. That's good. I'll go on it. So, sorry I didn't reach out to you. I just wasn't sure if it was canceled. So. Thank you. Just confirming the cancellation of the ship.
Jonathan's a busy guy. She was trying to get him to come in. Must be something happy you don't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning anymore for work. Probably when you were on spearboard though, you had no choice some days when you first started. Into our last gear, you can, as you said, you can tell you're going 80k. A bus needs work done on it, but sometimes it's the driver. You probably went on the bus on the way home a few times. And sometimes they brake so hard that the transmission jerks on the bus.
Yeah. Sometimes the transmission's a little out of whack, and every time it drops down to a gear, it jolts the bus.
Yeah, like I could feel it sometimes. Like this one is not bad for that. To really warm up soon again here.
Yeah, tomorrow it's gonna be like -4, and then we get into pluses for a couple of weeks.
So apparently Calgary Transit is very slowly. They're retiring 2 of these once a month, or every couple months, I should say.
I don't know why, because there's nothing wrong with these buses.
There isn't.
No.
And I really, you know what, I film a Nova once in a while, but I mean, I like the old flyers, that's my style. Even those air-conditioned buses, the one that you drove out of Spring Gardens, aren't the best.
Well, it used to be like those old GMs we used to have. Those things would go for 35, 40 years. With, well, after 30 years, they had to do engine overhauls and, stuff like that. But they just kept going and going and going. And now, you get 20, 25 years old, and the things are just pieces of junk. These wires.
Like the unit, yeah. Like the unit before the 7783 is no more. It was scrapped months ago. Same thing with 7732. Gone. Broke down in March 2021 on Route 14. Never put it back into service. I don't understand it either. Like, they could preserve them somehow and just keep them going for, say if this bus is like 20 years old now, get 10, 15 more years, 20 more years with a preserved thing. Like that, we kept one Jimmy, and you should see how good a shape it's in after refurbishment. It comes out for fan charters every year. 1046.
Really?
Up at Spring, and they bring it out for fan charters. And that thing runs like brand new.
1046.
Yep.
I've probably driven that thing 100 times.
And Revenue Service, it was our last active two-tone blue bus in service. So you remember that bus very well then.
1046, yeah, was a good bus. It was one of those fluky things where it comes out of the factory and just nothing ever happens to it. It just keeps going and going.
They could probably still go now. Imagine if they build them low floor, they would still be on the road. And even though the Jimmies were burning a lot of oil, them Detroits, man, couldn't beat them down with a stick. And the trannies were good in them too. And they got rid of the MCIs as well, the classics.
Remember one time, Calgary Transit bought a bunch of MCIs from Quebec City.
Yeah.
And they were American MCIs, and so they were it was in miles per hour. And so they had been in service in California somewhere, and then they sold them to Quebec City, and then they used them, and Calgary Transit bought them. Well, the first day they came out, I got one of them, and I was at Heritage Station, and I was doing the old 79 trips, and when I opened the door, when I got to the station to let people out, the two front doors both fell off, like crashed to the ground.
No. Wow.
Oh yeah, there was nuts and bolts flying, like, so I called it in and everything, and the guy says, what do you mean the doors fell off? And I said, the doors fell off.
Basically.
You guys bought these things from Quebec, didn't you, like, run them through the maintenance shop first? You know?
And Spruce Metals operates them MCRs. They have a few that they operate and preserved.
Yeah, well, if you keep them maintained, they work good.
Yeah.